Time. And it's time. Time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to show that our Dawagandist here is simply repeating a script, own book. He said Jesus made food halal, permittable, that was haram, forbidden. Well, let me just quote his own book to you.
I didn't say that.
In Surah 350. Stop my time. Yes, stop interrupting. No, stop interrupting.
I said
he's running from the debate because now he knows he's going to be disproven. And from now on, ladies and gentlemen, I will interrupt him whenever I want.
Please, sir.
And when I do, watch him complain. Now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Ready? Wait. Are you done? Are you done being rude and ignorant? Are you done being rude and ignorant? Are you done being rude and ignorant? Are you done being rude and ignorant?
No.
Right, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, he calls his Quran a liar, and I agree. Here's what the Quran says. This is Jesus speaking. I have come to you to attest the law which was before me. Listen to the next bit. And to make lawful to you part of what was before forbidden. So in other words, according to the Quran, Jesus said that he's going to make things permissible that were forbidden. That's what the Quran says. So in other words, he doesn't like his own book, because when we Christians say it, he says that that's a problem. But when the Quran says it, he says that it isn't. Let me show you that his script that he learned in a mosque contradicts his own book, because his God, speaking to me and to Christians, says this: let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah hath revealed therein. So Allah is commanding Christians to follow the gospel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, he's talking to the people of the book. Who were the people of the book? Jews and Christians. What did they identify as the gospel? What I have in my bag. That's what they identified as the gospel. His script has no evidence, and he's running from the argument. I've asked him 3 times, tell me what the original Injil was. Where can I find it? How can I read it? Because if you're going to say that the Injil has been changed, you need the original to show me where it's been changed. And if you don't have the original, you can't make the claim. Also, because you're just repeating a script, you haven't listened to what I have said. I didn't say Christians became before Jesus. I said they came before the Bible, the New Testament, and that is true. Your ignorance of my religion is your problem. You embody exactly the ignorance that I'm talking about. Yep.
Number one.
All right, starting.
Go ahead. He pointed out that Jesus made forbidden things allowed for the Jews.
That's what your Quran says.
And that's what my Quran says.
Yes, it does.
And this is true.
Ah, so it's not a problem then. So why was there a problem when Jesus did it in the Bible?
The Jews were not allowed to use.
Why was there a problem when Jesus did it in the Bible?
The Jews were not allowed. Well done. The Jews were not allowed to use the fat of the lamb.
No, why was there a problem when Jesus did it in the Bible?
They were not allowed to use.
Why was there a problem when Jesus did it in the Bible, but it's okay when the Quran did it?
Before they eat pork, Jesus never allowed the pork to be eaten.
Where's your proof?
They never said that you eat the pork.
How do you know? How do you know?
As it has been.
Where does the Quran list it? Where does the Quran list it?
And now
you weren't saying that when he was interrupting me.
And now I ask this man
Why the double standard?
very simple question.
Why the double standard?
The very simple question.
Who's the first
which
and the
he
last?
ran away from.
Who's the first
He
and the
ran
last?
away from the argument.
Who's the first and the last?
That where
Who's the
does
first
God
and the
say
last?
I am God? Worship me in Bible.
Where does Isa say he is the Messiah in the Quran? Where does Isa say he is the Messiah in the Quran?
When I asked him for the fish,
Where does Isa say he is the Messiah in the Quran? Where does Isa say that he is the Messiah in the Quran? Where does Isa say he is the Messiah in the Quran? Where does Isa say he is the Messiah in the Quran?
what kind of
Where does Isa say he is the Messiah in the Quran?
The Quran is not the word of Jesus.
Where does Isa say he is the Messiah in the Quran?
Say,
Why can't you answer my question?
when I asked
Why can't you answer my question? Why can't you answer my question? Don't push into me. Why can't you answer my question? Who's the first and the last in the Quran?
Lord had
Who is the first and the last in the Quran? Allah is the first and the last in the Quran. Who is the first and the last in the Bible? Jesus
does not
Christ.
want to accept
Okay,
that
this debate's over.
Bible is
Yeah, I'll heckle
contaminated.
him for another 1 minute 50, whatever.
The Bible is contaminated.
So you can't answer my question. So you can't answer my question. Here's the number of questions you didn't answer.
Filth he has.
Where does Isa say he is the Messiah in the Quran? You didn't answer that.
enemy of the Quran.
Who is the first and the last in the Quran? You didn't answer that. Where is the original Injil? You didn't answer that. All you have is an ignorant script given to you by ignorant men. If you are a seeker after truth, you owe it to yourself to be consistent in your arguments. And you can't be consistent in your arguments. You can't be consistent in your arguments because your script is broken. I'm the Christian here. You are not the Christian. Do you know what a Christian is? What's a Christian? What's a Christian? What's a Christian? What's a Christian? What's in the right? Brilliant. Right. People that believe in the Christ are Christians. Agreed? Right. And Christ brought an Injil, didn't he? Who did he bring it to?
To the people.
Which people? Which people?
To the people of Israel.
Israel, right. So Christ brings a new revelation to the Jews, doesn't he? So that means the Jews now have to follow Jesus, correct? And who does the Quran say are Christians?
Sorry.
Who does the Quran say are Christians?
Nasrani, yes.
Who are they?
Nasrani are the followers of the Jesus.
Yes, and they're Jewish, right? So if the followers of Jesus are Jewish Christians, who are the Jews?
The followers of Abraham.
The followers of Abraham. So is the Quran
Moses,
saying,
David,
so is the
Solomon, all
Quran
of them.
saying that you can ignore the next prophet to follow the last one?
Now can I answer that?
Yeah, I would like to hear that answer.
What happened is that at the time of Jesus, when the Jesus came with the revelation, well, not with the revelation, with a miraculous birth, and the Jews, the Bani Israel, were behaving very badly. They were indulging themselves into adultery very badly. I don't know if you know this. They were involved into usury, riba,
Just
the
asking.
interest.
No, that's not answering my question.
1 minute. So Jesus came as a messenger to correct those people,
To the Jews,
to the Jews,
who then became Christians.
who then some of them did become Christian. Yes.
So at that time, that's the revelation to follow, right?
That was the revelation to follow
So
the
the Jews that refuse to follow Jesus,
Yes.
they are no
They're
longer,
infidel.
they're infidel. So why does he call them people of the book?
Okay, what God is referring to,
Yeah.
that the people of the book who believe in one Lord,
Right?
the people who believe in one Lord,
Yeah?
this is what it's referring to.
Right, so now let's actually look at what your Quran says. Because this is the problem, bro. When you just come here to repeat a script and you don't...
This is what it is. You are getting it wrong
No,
here.
I'm gonna let me show you. Let me
You're
show
getting
you.
it wrong here
You
first.
don't even know what I'm trying to show you.
I know what you're going to show
What
me.
am I going to show you? Because I'm going to show you wrong.
There's two things have been mentioned in Quran. The people of the book, and then the people of the book have been cursed for disobeying
That
their
was
own
not what I was
books.
going to show you.
Okay, go on then.
You see, you jump into conclusions
Go on
again.
then.
You see, if you're more humble, you'll learn more. Not just about Christianity, but even maybe about your own Quran.
That's why the whole Christians
Right.
have left the churches.
So-
The churches are being sold. they're left abandoned.
They're abandoning
Everything.
Sharia
Where-
law in North Sudan. They're abandoning Sharia law in Iran. They fled from Sharia law in Afghanistan. Like, Afghanis don't want to live under Sharia. They're running away from the Taliban. In Indonesia, Christianity is the fastest growing religion. In Iran, the fastest growing religion is Christianity. So please, you know what? We can all pull out silly arguments like
Listen,
this.
I don't
Now,
know what you're talking about. How many people you see
No,
in
no,
the
no,
churches
no.
over here?
No, 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 no.
No, you have just tell a lie.
So what?
Are people,
Brother,
Christians
brother,
running away
no,
or not?
no,
While you're
brother,
looking, keep
brother,
talking.
Brother, the reality is you don't go to enough churches. All you see is what the BBC want you to see.
All the refugee
And the
Africans out there, trust me, if there's no Africans in this country, your churches will turn into nurseries and
There's,
nightclubs.
there's
You know
definitely problems.
how many of them are?
There is definitely problems.
Yeah?
Yes.
Why is that? It's because of the
Do
hypocrisy.
you understand Turkish mosques
Because
are
of
empty?
no, they're not. I
Yes,
just
they
came
are.
from Istanbul
Yes, they are.
after Kamal Atatürk.
So,
there was.
come and look, right? This is what your Quran says, right? To thee, firstly, let's look at this verse.
Which one is this?
Right? This is Surah 5, Ayah 47. Okay?
Let me take it out this one.
Yeah.
Just in case. Surah 5, ayah number?
Starting at 47, but we're not finishing yet.
Wake up! They adopted many times up. Your pathetic. Here you go with education.
Okay, yeah.
Right. Brother, you're asking a lot there. You're asking a lot with this guy. Right, listen. So it says, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah hath revealed. Right. Firstly, this was revealed in the 7th century. Allah is talking to the people of the book, and he's telling them to judge by the gospel. That means the people of the book who are Christians, what do they identify? In the 7th century, what did they identify as the gospel? Try to reason now. What did they identify as the gospel?
The arrival of the prophet.
No,
Messiah,
that's a lie. You're lying. That's a lie.
in the Bible.
No, that's a lie. What they
Give me the
identified as,
reference.
what do they identify as the
Give me the
Injil?
reference for
What they
the
identify as
arrival
the
of the Prophet Muhammad in the Bible. Find me the. I do have it written down.
So,
on my book. I
well,
didn't bring it with me.
you come back
One
to that
minute.
verse.
I've only come to the park today to see you, Bob. Sorry about that.
Maybe.
You're truly blessed.
Thank you.
Please carry on doing God's work, Bob.
I will try my
You
best.
are truly
All right.
blessed. Take care.
God bless. God bless, brother. Yeah.
God bless.
So,
God bless.
why you shouldn't talk with your mouth full. Right. So, guys, right? Look at this and try to reason with me. Allah is talking in the 7th century to a people who are Christians to judge by the gospel, right? Those people identified what I have in my bag as that gospel, okay? That means that Allah is telling them to live and believe by what I have in my bag.
This,
Now show me why I'm wrong.
This Bible, you have got.
No, show me why I'm wrong from this verse. I'm not wrong, thank you. Brilliant.
From
So
the
that means,
from the gospel at the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him,
and what was that?
the gospel, whatever the gospels were there.
See, you don't know,
No,
do you?
one minute, one minute, one
You
minute,
don't
one
know, do
minute,
you?
one minute, one
You don't know,
minute, one minute,
but I
one
do.
minute.
Go on.
The gospel at the time of Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
Yeah.
it was a different gospel.
Prove it.
Okay, number one.
Prove it.
Number two,
No. You've just told a lie. You've just told an absolute lie. And you're repeating a lie that you have been told that you have never once checked. But the difference between me and you is that I have checked. We have the Gospels from the 7th centuries. They're in museums around the world. We have their names, they are in lists. You can find them yourself, and then you can go and read them yourself. You can go and, there's hundreds of manuscripts, hundreds. And what do they teach? Wait, one second.
I'm telling you.
No, wait, 1 second. You're again repeating a lie. And the problem is you think that because I have studied that I'm just going to believe your lie. But the reality is I know you're making things up because I've actually gone away and looked. When you look at the 7th century manuscripts of the Bible in the Syriac, which is what they were reading in the Middle East, it matches what I have in my bag.
where is it?
You can pull them up, you can look at them yourself.
is
They're in
it?
museums across the world.
This Bible is not the copy of that Bible.
Prove it.
This is what it is not.
Prove it.
It has been proven
Where?
that
By who?
this is
Prove it.
your own pastors, your
Go
own
on.
scholars.
Give me one.
Guys, Listen.
Give me one. Name one. I'd love milk, one sugar.
You are saying which gospel you got, by the way?
Right, unless you can offer proof to something.
No. One second. What gospel you got at the
Right.
moment?
Let me explain the Christian faith to you,
yeah.
because you're just repeating statements.
What gospel you got?
You're
Come
just
on, answer me.
repeating
Answer me.
statements.
Answer
You're
me.
going to.
Yeah.
You're just repeating statements that you've heard in the mosque that you've
No,
never.
shut up.
I'm
Tell
not
me
gonna
what
shut
is
up.
the.
I'm not
Tell
gonna
me
shut
what
up.
is the
So
gospel
I'm going
in
to
your
tell
bag.
you. I'm going to tell you. There are 4 accounts of one gospel. Those 4 accounts are named Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are the original. Prove me wrong, because if you can't, I'm going to prove myself right.
Okay. Now, number 1, you got 4 more Bibles which have been rejected.
What Bibles are we talking about?
Bible Barnabas.
Bible. You don't even know what you're talking
Okay.
about. What does Bible mean?
Okay, Gospel Barnabas.
The Gospel of Barnabas is 2nd century, 3rd century documents.
Okay, where is it?
The Gospel of Barnabas,
Yeah.
you can find it in museums,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
But we're not
What does
talking
it-
about
one
that.
minute, one minute,
We're
one minute.
talking about what the
One
Quran
minute,
says.
one minute, yes.
So are you saying
So this-
are you saying that this is the Gospel of Barnabas?
Okay, now, number 1.
Are you saying that's the Gospel of Barnabas?
No. This is
It
what
isn't.
it is referring to some part of
What,
the Gospel
what,
of
what?
Barnabas. Now listen
That
to this
fictitious
one.
account.
Now,
Do we know why it's
listen
fictitious?
to this one. Listen to this.
Wait, do you know anything about the Gospel of Barnabas?
Yes, I do.
Right, when was
it
the first
says,
when
it is
when is it first heard?
wait, just shut up, please let me talk.
No, you lied. And
Just
you
tell
interrupted
me,
when you felt like
did the Prophet Muhammad mention in the Gospel of Barnabas or not?
No, he isn't.
He isn't?
Excuse me. Can I go after? But I don't want any cameras.
Yes, we can talk off camera if you're willing to wait.
Yeah.
Yes. The Gospel of
1 minute,
Barnabas.
let me show it to you.
The Gospel of Barnabas.
One
Fine.
minute.
No, I'll take back what I've said. I'm happy. I was thinking about my Gospels, not your Gospels. I'm happy to say the Gospel of Barnabas mentions Muhammad.
Okay.
The Gospel of
This
Barnabas.
is what?
The Gospel of Barnabas is a 7th century fake.
Okay.
It's a 7th century fake. Shall I tell you why we know? Because the Gospel of Barnabas talks about wine barrels, right? Wine barrels didn't come until centuries later. In the 1st century, they used wine skins.
Whatever you say,
Yeah.
this is what
You
the
don't know
Quran is
history, do you?
referring to the Barnabas.
The Gospel. So you're saying.
Okay.
Right. Great.
Okay, one minute,
Great. One second.
One minute.
Right,
Why
one
doesn't
second.
your gospel
One second.
mention about the Muhammad?
1 second. Right. Tell me this. You've just
Hold on.
undone yourself. You've just undone yourself. Because you've just said that the Gospel here refers to the Gospel of Barnabas.
Actual gospel, which
Show
is the
me,
true book of
show
God,
me,
which has
show
been
me,
changed.
show me in the 7th century which people believed in the Gospel of Barnabas.
Probably there was different names for that, as the name for the Bible
You're making
have
things
been
up again.
changed. No.
You're
The
making
names
things
have
up
been
again.
changed over the period of time.
Yeah.
Different books have been printed. Different texts have been removed. Different text has been added. What the God,
Okay.
what the Allah is mentioning over here
Yeah.
is the true word of the Jesus, where He mentioned the
Yes,
arrival
right,
of the Prophet
right.
Muhammad.
Let's think about that for a
to
second. Let's think
after
about that
him.
a second. Let's think
This
about
is
that for
what
a
he
second.
is talking about.
Let's think about that for a second. Because the thing is, if we're talking about a book that is referred to in the 7th century, right? And the
third
people,
century book
and the
anyway.
people that
Because the
believe
first
in the
Bible
Bible,
was written
the
after
Gospel
the
of
4th century
Barnabas,
anyway.
the Gospel of Barnabas was not known in the 1st century. No one refers to the Gospel of
There
Barnabas.
was no Bible in the first
There
century.
was,
The Bible
there was,
was
I'm
written
sorry.
after 150
Here's where you're wrong.
years.
Because
150
Ignatius,
years
are you
was the
listening?
first time the collection
I'm going
of
to
some
show
of
you.
them.
I'm going to show you why you're wrong. I'm going to show you why you're just another ignorant da'i. The Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, are quoted by Ignatius, Irenaeus, Clement of Rome, Clement of Alexandria, mentioned by Athenagoras. They're quoted by. They're even quoted by non-Christians. They're quoted by Marcion. They're quoted by Tatian. They're quoted by Tertullian. Right? Particularly Clement of Alexandria and Clement of Rome. Clement of Rome was a 1st century writer, and he refers and uses the Gospels I have. Irenaeus uses the Gospels I have. Ignatius uses the Gospels I have. Listen, because this is where he demonstrates you're wrong. Listen, listen. These people all lived before 150 AD. If they are quoting the Gospels I have, that means the Gospels I have are 1st century documents. It's not like they had printing presses back then.
Gospel of
But
John,
you know what they don't
when
do?
was it compiled?
You know what they don't do? They never quote the Gospel of Barnabas. No one ever quotes the Gospel of Barnabas. When is the first time anyone refers to the Gospel of Barnabas? In the 7th century. And what religion believes in Muhammad in the 7th century? Islam. Islam, right? And what gospel references Muhammad? The Gospel of Barnabas. So we have a 7th century document talking about Muhammad after the birth of Islam. It doesn't take a genius, and unfortunately you're not one, but it doesn't take a genius to realize that the Gospel of Barnabas was a Muslim lie, a Muslim fake, repeating lies that you have repeated.
First Gospel of John, what date it was written? Do you have that?
The latest date we have for the Gospel of John is 90 AD.
90 AD.
Yes, which makes it a 1st century document. The first reference to the Gospel of Barnabas is in the 7th century. Wait, have you heard that? Have you heard that?
1 second. How many times it has been rejected that
The Gospel of John was never ever rejected by the
for
church.
the date it was written 180 years after.
That's
180 years
scholarship.
after.
That's whole scholarship. It's debunked.
180 years after.
Dr. Bruce Metzger, Dr. Bart Ehrman, Dr. James White,
There is
Dr. Dan Willis,
variations. Look,
all of them say
rejecting
that
Barnabas.
the Gospel
I am
of John
returning.
was based
I am
in the
rejecting.
1st century. The difference between me and you is I have evidence. You have conjecture and claim.
No! You are
You have-
rejecting the Bible
So where's
of
the
Barnabas.
first? When?
I am
Where?
rejecting the Bible
There is
of John.
no Bible.
Because you have
There
so
is
many
no
Gospels.
Bible of
so many
Barnabas.
Gospels of Johns and Barnabas
There
and
is
all
no
that.
Bible.
They were written
You can't even use
afterwards.
the words
They
correctly.
were written afterwards.
You can't
You're
even
not
use
getting
the
it.
words
They have been
correctly.
added with the
You're so
lies, with the
ignorant
stories.
of this
and
topic
you are absolutely
that you
ignorant, my
can't
friend.
even
you
use
can
the
go
words properly.
and check when was the Bible written.
The whole of the New
800
Testament
Bibles,
was
they have
finished
got
in
700
90
Bibles.
AD.
The first one
All
was
that you're
written
repeating
after
are
200
lies
years.
by the Dawah. All right,
Now
this
you're gonna
guy's
tell
done, guys.
me,
He's done. He's done.
It's been
He's
all
done.
right.
Right, he's done. He's done. He's got nothing.
It hasn't been
He's
nice.
got nothing. He's got nothing. He's got nothing. So unfortunately, what we had there, ladies and gentlemen, is a perfect example of a Dawah script use. Now notice, Muslims are able to repeat this Dawah script. Any Muslim in this park can repeat this script. And unfortunately, too many of you, my brothers and sisters, are ignorant to argue against that script. You need to study the history of the faith. You need to study the doctrines of the faith, because this script is refutable, as you have seen in this debate, in this discussion. We have nothing to fear from the Dawah script. They have no arguments. All they have are catchphrases, all they have are questions, and all they have are statements that rely on you being ignorant. If your church is not teaching apologetics, your church is the problem. Every church needs to teach apologetics. And just as an offer, if you watch this video, if your church wants me to teach them apologetics, I will do so. Just reach out to me at my email, btbsoko@gmail.com.
Can I answer a few of your questions?
One final statement. One final statement. Ladies and gentlemen, this Quran doesn't even agree with the Dawah script. This Quran tells Christians to believe in the gospel, tells Jews to believe in the gospel, tells them to live by it. If it's telling us to live by 7th century gospels and it's talking to the Alim al-Kitab, well, we know what the Christians and the Jews believed that the Torah and the Gospels look like, because we have 7th century documents in Syriac, in Hebrew, that were being read by 7th century Christians and 7th century Jews. And when you compare those 7th century documents to the Bible I've got in my bag, they teach exactly the same message. So anyone with a brain can figure this out. The question is, Da'i, are you going to think or just repeat?